In a previous video I made these F-body style clamps out of wood and they work okay, but I wanted to make some improvements. I wanted to make them more like parallel clamps. So to do so, I'm just using plywood, some sanded ACX, which is decent quality but still fairly cheap. And I'm going to start off by cutting a 1.5 inch strip, which is going to be used for the bar as well as the cam. Next, I'm cutting out a 4-inch strip, which is first going to be used for some side support plates, which are going to be 3 inches tall and 4 inches long. These are going to be on the sides of the sliding jaw. I'm using the remainder of the 4-inch strip to cut out 1-inch strips for the rest of the components. We have to use the 1-inch strips to cut out 6 pieces, all 6.5 inches long. Using the remainder of the 1-inch strips, I then cut out 7 1-inch spacer blocks, followed by 2 4-inch spacers. With that, I was ready for assembly, starting with the clamping component, which is 2 6.5 inch pieces, separated by 2 1-inch spacers. If it's not obvious, the spacing on the bottom is just the bar height. The next piece was the fixed jaw at the end of the clamp, which is 2 6.5 inch pieces separated by a 1-inch and 4-inch spacer, again with the bar spacing in between those. And no, this is not duplicate footage. We also need another piece just like that, except this is going to be used for the sliding jaw. We start with something exactly like the fixed jaw, except we're going to take those triangle side supports, add those on the sides with 3 1-inch spacers in between on the other end to help support it. I'm using dowels not only for the axle for the cam, but also just to lock everything in, because that way I can easily replace components. But you could totally use screws or nails or really any other method for this. When adding the sliding jaw, you'll just want to make sure it's at the end of the bar so you can slide in the clamping component just like this. For this build I used plywood because it's cheap, but you can use hardwood like I did here, where I made one out of maple and cherry. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a build video on that. It's pretty much the same process, except for planing.